There are moments in life when something quiet begins to move beneath the surface. Nothing looks different on the outside. The world continues its usual rhythm. People go to work, conversations happen, and the day passes like any other. But deep inside the story of your life, something important is preparing to reveal itself. A loving heart is powerful, not loud, not forceful, but steady and patient. It waits, it observes, and when the right moment comes, it speaks in a way that can change everything. Most people believe that the biggest moments in life arrive with noise and warning. They imagine signs, clear signals, and dramatic events. But often the most important revelations come quietly. They appear through simple words, unexpected kindness, or a moment of truth that catches you completely unprepared. Right now, somewhere in your life, a loving heart may be carrying something important. It could be a person who's been watching you struggle, someone who understands your pain more than you realize, someone who has been holding back words that could shift the direction of your life. You may not be ready to hear it. In fact, very few people ever are, because when love speaks honestly, it has a way of uncovering things we tried to hide. It shows us truths we avoided. It reminds us of the parts of ourselves we forgot. But that is the strange beauty of love. It does not appear to comfort our illusions. It appears to guide us towards something better. Think about the times when a single sentence changed your perspective. Perhaps someone believed in you when you could not believe in yourself. Perhaps someone challenged you when you were walking the wrong path. Those moments rarely feel comfortable at first. They feel surprising, sometimes even unsettling. Yet later we discover that those words carried the wisdom we needed all along. A loving heart does not reveal something big to control you. It reveals it to awaken you. And sometimes the reason you are not ready is because you have been living inside a smaller version of your own story. Many people walk through life convinced that nothing extraordinary is waiting for them. They believe their struggles define them. They believe their failures are permanent. They believe the best chapters belong to someone else. But a loving heart sees differently. It sees potential where you see weakness. It sees purpose where you see confusion. It sees the future that you cannot yet imagine. When that heart finally speaks, it may reveal something that feels overwhelming, a truth about your strength, a challenge you did not expect, a path you never considered, and your first reaction might be doubt. You might think, this cannot be meant for me. But the most powerful transformations often begin with disbelief. The truth is that life sometimes prepares us slowly for moments we cannot yet understand. We grow through difficulties, disappointments, and questions. We collect experiences that seem random at first, yet later we realize they were preparing us to hear a message we once would have ignored. Perhaps the revelation coming your way is about forgiveness. Perhaps it is about courage. Perhaps it is about stepping into a calling you never thought you could fulfill. Whatever it is, it will come from a place of genuine care, from someone who sees beyond your fears, and when that moment arrives, it will ask something from you. It will ask you to listen. It will ask you to consider that your life might hold more meaning than you assume. And it will ask you to trust that love sometimes knows things before we do. So if you feel that something important is approaching in your life, do not run from it. Do not dismiss it simply because you feel unprepared. Often the greatest revelations come precisely when we feel least ready, because readiness is not about having all the answers. It is about having the courage to hear the truth when it finally arrives. And somewhere, perhaps closer than you think, a loving heart is preparing to speak. When it does, the words may surprise you, they may challenge you, they may even change the direction of your life. But one day you may look back and realize that this unexpected moment was the very thing that helped you become who you were always meant to be. A loving heart carries a quiet kind of strength that the world often overlooks. It does not demand attention, and it does not try to prove itself through noise or force. Instead, it moves patiently, almost invisibly, shaping lives in ways that many people do not immediately recognize. In a world that celebrates loud voices and dramatic actions, the gentle influence of a caring heart can seem small. Yet history, relationships, and personal stories repeatedly show that the most meaningful changes often begin with someone who simply cares deeply. A loving heart watches carefully. It notices the struggles others try to hide. It senses the silent battles people fight within themselves. While others may pass by without seeing, a loving heart pauses and pays attention. It sees beyond appearances and recognizes the deeper story unfolding inside another person. This ability to see clearly is not a matter of intelligence or skill. It is the natural result of genuine compassion. When someone truly cares, they begin to understand things that words alone cannot explain. They recognize when someone is discouraged, even if that person is smiling. They notice when someone needs encouragement, even if that person insists everything is fine. This awareness allows a loving heart to respond in ways that are surprisingly powerful. The response may not look impressive at first. It may come in the form of a quiet conversation, a thoughtful question, or a few sincere words spoken at the right time. But those moments often reach deeper than grand speeches or dramatic gestures ever could. A loving heart knows that timing matters. It does not rush to speak simply to fill silence. Instead, it waits until the right moment appears. This patience is one of its greatest strengths. Many people react quickly when they see a problem. They offer advice without fully understanding the situation, or they speak words that are meant to help but arrive too early to be received. A loving heart does something different. It listens first. It observes carefully. It gives space for others to express themselves. Through this quiet attention, it gains a clearer understanding of what is truly needed. Sometimes the most helpful thing is not advice, but presence. Simply knowing that someone cares enough to listen can bring a sense of relief that no solution alone could provide. In these moments, the quiet power of love begins to reveal itself. People start to feel seen and valued. They realize that their struggles are not invisible and that their story matters to someone else. This realization can change the atmosphere of a difficult situation. Hope begins to grow where discouragement once lived. Confidence begins to return where doubt once ruled. What makes a loving heart so powerful is not its ability to control outcomes, but its ability to influence them gently. It inspires rather than forces. It encourages rather than commands. When someone feels genuinely cared for, they become more open to change. They begin to believe that improvement is possible. They find courage they did not know they had. A loving heart understands that transformation rarely happens overnight. It is a gradual process shaped by many small moments of encouragement, understanding, and patience. Each kind word becomes a small light in someone's path. Each act of compassion becomes a reminder that goodness still exists in the world. Over time, these small lights form a path that leads people out of confusion and toward clarity. This quiet influence often spreads further than anyone expects. When one person experiences genuine care, they are more likely to offer the same kindness to others. In this way, a single loving heart can begin a chain of compassion that reaches far beyond its original moment. The world may not celebrate these quiet acts the way it celebrates public achievements, yet their impact can be far greater. Loud actions may capture attention for a moment, but sincere love shapes lives for years. It plants seeds that continue to grow long after the original moment has passed. The remarkable thing about a loving heart is that it does not always realize the power it holds. The person offering kindness may think they are doing something small, they may believe their words are ordinary or their presence insignificant. Yet the person receiving that care may experience it as a turning point. What felt like a simple conversation may become the moment someone decided not to give up. What felt like a small encouragement may become the reason someone tried again after failure. The quiet power of love works in ways that are often invisible at first but undeniable in the long run. It reshapes perspectives, restores courage, and reminds people of their worth. In a world filled with noise, competition, and constant pressure, the steady presence of a loving heart becomes something rare and valuable. It brings calm where there is chaos and understanding where there is confusion. It reminds people that they are not alone in their struggles and that someone cares about their journey. This quiet strength may never seek recognition, but it leaves a lasting mark on the lives it touches. And when the moment finally comes for a loving heart to reveal something important, its words carry a weight that cannot be ignored, because they come from a place of genuine care, patience, and truth. Many people expect life's most important moments to arrive with noise and clear warning. They imagine dramatic changes, loud announcements, or unmistakable signs that something big is about to happen. But life rarely works this way. The most meaningful turning points often arrive quietly, almost unnoticed at first. They slip into ordinary days without drawing attention to themselves. One moment you are simply living your usual routine, and the next moment something small happens that slowly begins to change everything. It might be a conversation that seems simple at the time, a short message from someone you did not expect to hear from, or a single sentence that suddenly makes you see your life differently. These moments do not come with bright lights or applause. They appear quietly, almost like a whisper in the middle of a busy world. Because of this, many people miss them. They are too focused on waiting for something dramatic to happen, believing that life-changing moments must feel extraordinary from the beginning. Yet the truth is that the most powerful shifts often begin in the most ordinary settings. A quiet walk, a calm evening, a normal conversation. These simple moments can hold the seeds of transformation. What makes them powerful is not their appearance, but the meaning they carry. When something important is about to reveal itself, it often approaches gently rather than forcefully. It arrives in a way that allows you to discover it rather than be overwhelmed by it. This quiet arrival has a purpose. If life revealed everything at once with great intensity, many people would feel frightened or resistant. They might run away from the truth instead of embracing it. By arriving quietly, these moments give the heart time to adjust and the mind time to reflect. They invite you to think rather than react. Sometimes the quietest moments carry the deepest truths. Think about how often a person remembers a small comment from years ago that still influences them today. At the time, it may have seemed like nothing special. It was just a few words spoken in passing. Yet those words stayed in the mind, slowly shaping thoughts and decisions over time. Quiet moments have this unique ability to grow in importance long after they occur. They continue working in the background of a person's life, slowly revealing their true meaning. Another reason life's biggest moments arrive quietly is because real change usually begins inside before it becomes visible outside. The world often celebrates visible achievements, success, recognition, or dramatic breakthroughs, but those visible moments are usually the result of many quiet realizations that happened earlier. Before someone changes their direction in life, they experience a quiet moment of clarity. Before someone forgives, they experience a quiet moment of reflection. Before someone chooses courage over fear, they experience a quiet moment where they decide not to run away anymore. These inner shifts rarely happen in loud environments. They happen in stillness, where a person can truly listen to their thoughts and feelings. Quiet moments allow truth to rise to the surface without distraction. They create space for honesty. When the noise of the world fades, people can finally hear the deeper questions of their own hearts. They begin to ask themselves what truly matters, what they truly want, and what they may have been avoiding for a long time. These realizations can be uncomfortable, but they are also necessary. They are the beginning of growth. Many people later look back on their lives and realize that a single quiet moment changed everything. It may have been a moment when someone showed unexpected kindness. It may have been a moment when they recognized their own strength after a period of doubt. It may have been a moment when someone spoke a truth they were not expecting to hear. None of these moments needed noise to be powerful. Their strength came from their honesty and timing. The quiet nature of these experiences also makes them personal. Loud events are shared by many people at once, but quiet revelations often feel like they are meant specifically for you. They happen in ways that speak directly to your situation, your questions, and your struggles. Because of this, they feel deeply meaningful. They feel like a message that somehow found its way to the exact moment you needed it. Life has a remarkable way of arranging these moments when the time is right. You may not recognize their importance immediately. In fact, many people only understand them later, after time has passed and the results begin to appear. Looking back, they realize that what seemed like an ordinary moment was actually the beginning of a new direction. This is why it is important not to overlook the quiet parts of life. They may appear simple, but they often carry hidden significance. A peaceful conversation, a thoughtful pause, or a small act of kindness can become the starting point of something much greater than anyone expected. The world may be full of noise and constant activity, but the deepest changes usually begin in silence. They start with a quiet realization that slowly grows into action, courage, and transformation. When we learn to pay attention to these gentle moments, we begin to notice the subtle ways life guides us toward growth. What once seemed ordinary becomes meaningful. What once seemed small becomes powerful. And we begin to understand that life's greatest revelations rarely shout for attention. Instead, they arrive quietly, patiently waiting for someone who is willing to notice them and listen. Love has a way of revealing truth, and truth is not always comfortable. Many people imagine love as something that simply protects feelings and keeps life pleasant. They think that if someone truly cares about them, that person will avoid difficult conversations and never challenge their choices. But genuine love is deeper than that. A loving heart does not exist merely to maintain comfort. It exists to guide, to protect, and sometimes to gently confront the illusions that hold someone back. This is why love can sometimes feel surprising, even unsettling. When someone truly cares, they begin to notice patterns in your life that you may not see yourself. They see the habits that quietly weaken your confidence. They notice the fears that stop you from stepping forward. They recognize the excuses that have slowly become barriers between you and the life you could be living. Most people are skilled at hiding these things, even from themselves. It is easy to create explanations that make problems seem smaller than they really are. It is easy to pretend that everything is under control, yet a loving heart often sees beyond those explanations. It understands that protecting someone from truth may feel kind in the moment, but it can quietly allow deeper problems to grow. Because of this, love sometimes speaks words that feel uncomfortable at first. These words are not meant to embarrass or criticize. They are meant to awaken awareness. They are meant to shine light into places where confusion or fear has been quietly growing. A loving heart understands that real growth begins when a person faces reality with honesty. That moment of honesty can feel challenging because it breaks through the comfortable stories we tell ourselves. For example, someone may be convinced that their dreams are impossible. They may repeat this belief so often that it begins to feel like a fact. But a loving heart may challenge that belief by asking a simple question. Have you truly tried, or have you only been afraid to fail? That question may feel uncomfortable, but it also opens the door to a new way of thinking. In the same way, someone may be trapped in harmful habits or negative relationships. They may know deep inside that something is wrong, but they continue because change feels frightening. A loving heart may gently point out the truth that they have been avoiding. At first, this honesty may feel difficult to hear, yet over time it often becomes the very insight that leads to freedom. The remarkable thing about love is that it balances truth with compassion. It does not attack or condemn. Instead, it speaks with care and patience. Even when it reveals something painful, it does so with the intention of helping someone become stronger. This is very different from criticism, which often focuses only on faults. True love reveals truth while also reminding a person of their value and potential. It says, in essence, you are capable of more than this. In that message, there is both challenge and hope. Love does not simply point out problems, it points toward possibilities. It believes that people can grow, change, and become better versions of themselves. That belief is powerful. When someone realizes that another person truly believes in their potential, they often begin to believe in it as well. Over time, the uncomfortable truth that once felt difficult can become a source of strength. Many people look back on moments when someone spoke honestly to them and realize that those moments changed their lives. At the time, the words may have felt unexpected or even unwelcome, but later they recognized that those words came from a place of genuine care. They were not meant to harm but to guide. This is one of the quiet miracles of love. It has the courage to tell the truth while still protecting the dignity of the person hearing it. It refuses to ignore problems simply to keep the peace. Instead, it seeks a deeper peace that comes from understanding and growth. When love reveals truth, it invites a person to step out of denial and into awareness. That awareness may begin as discomfort, but it often leads to clarity. Clarity brings direction, and direction brings the possibility of real change. In this way, love becomes a powerful force for transformation. It does not settle for shallow comfort because it desires something greater for the people it cares about. It wants them to live with purpose, confidence, and honesty. The path toward that life may require difficult realizations along the way, but those realizations are not punishments. They are opportunities to grow stronger and wiser. When a loving heart speaks truth, it is offering a gift that cannot be measured by immediate comfort. It is offering the chance to see life more clearly and to move forward with greater understanding. Over time, the person who receives that truth may discover that the moment of discomfort was actually the beginning of a new chapter. A chapter where illusions are replaced by honesty, fear is replaced by courage, and the quiet power of love continues to guide the journey toward a better future. As we come to the end of this reflection, it is worth remembering that life rarely announces its most meaningful moments in advance. They often arrive quietly, carried in the words, actions, or presence of someone who truly cares. A loving heart does not appear in our lives by accident. It appears at the moment when truth, encouragement, or direction is most needed. Perhaps right now you sense that something important is drawing near. Maybe there is a conversation that has yet to happen, a realization waiting to surface, or a message someone has been holding in their heart for a long time. You may not feel ready for it. In fact, very few people ever feel fully prepared when a moment of truth finally arrives. But readiness is not about having perfect confidence or complete understanding. Readiness is simply the willingness to listen. It is the courage to consider that the words spoken by a loving heart may carry a purpose greater than we first realize. When that moment comes, pause long enough to hear it. Do not dismiss it too quickly. Sometimes a single sincere message has the power to redirect a life, to restore hope where doubt once lived, and to awaken a strength that was quietly waiting inside you. One day you may look back and recognize that what seemed like a simple moment was actually the beginning of something much greater. A loving heart spoke, and because you chose to listen, your story began to move in a new and meaningful direction. So stay open, stay attentive, because somewhere, perhaps closer than you think, a loving heart is preparing to reveal something important. And when it does, it may become the moment that changes everything.